Hi, welcome back to Wow Expression. I'm Nadine, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to WoWexpressions, where we are here to encourage you, to urge you to live your best life. As ladies, we have a responsibility to put our best self out there, and we just want to encourage you to join us for a very interesting conversation today. Thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, welcome back to Wow Expressions. So glad that you could come today and have a conversation with us. I'm Delia.
Hi guys, I'm Anna. Welcome back to WoWexpressions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.
So I was on Facebook earlier on this week or so, and I saw this post about basically finding your peace and coming to a stage in your life where you are kind of living that optimal life. And when I thought about it, I was like, that is really the ideal. We all want to be living that, optimal life. But one of the things that I have found in order to do so is that we have to be able to end things. And I feel like a lot of us, it's really difficult
Yeah, it is.
to end stuff, right? Yeah. So, because I was thinking about sometimes you have these toxic relationships, right? Across the board, you can have relationship in terms of your job. The environment is so toxic. You literally, like, every single day when you jump in your car and you're driving to work, you're like, oh my God, help me to make it through the day. Help me.
Yeah.
Like,
All familiar with that one.
Sometimes the aggression that comes to you, you have to be like literally praying every minute. That is such a toxic environment.
Yes.
You're stressed all day, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, that is something, in order for you to be at peace, you need to end that.
Yes.
Yeah, you definitely need to end that, because at the end of the day, it's just a job. It really always is. And if you fall down, they're going to put an ad in the paper.
And get somebody right after your heart attack. Your position filled the next day.
Exactly. And also, guys, you all have to bear in mind there are people who actually plan on making your day miserable when you get to work.
When they wake up and they meditate for 5 minutes, they're thinking about
so you have to look out for that too.
Exactly. So it's like, you need to end that in order for your life to be at peace. And additionally, if you have a friend, you have some friends that are, let's face it, they are toxic. I mean, toxic, the relationship.
Yeah, it is.
It's always like first you have the ones who they bring and carry. It's always like confusion, a bacchanal. Every time you talk to them, you're like, oh God.
I'm so tired listening to the same thing over and over and over in a different form.
Yeah.
So it's like, you need to recognize that is taken away from my peace. That is problematic in me, living the best life. And
life is short, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do something else.
Also, when you think about, and this one is the hardest, I think, for most people, toxic, intimate relationships, right?
Yeah.
When you have a partner and that relationship is dysfunctional, respectful, the man holding you with everybody, he would neighbor next door.
But the thing is, in toxic relationships and toxic situations, sometimes we try to rationalize bad behavior. That is the key thing. Once you get out of rationalizing somebody's or making excuses for their bad behavior, then that's your first way out.
Because this kind of thing, you can't be with a man who is all female, because it's not just, I'm sure we have some guys who listen to us that you're not being honored. And if you've done everything to say, listen, I am a person who deserves honor, and I'm worthy, and and change. You've tried all you've done everything. If there's physical abuse, there's abuse. You know, that is toxic and dysfunctional. And, you know, we have to learn to say, you know what? No.
You need to recognize it.
Yeah, this has to
You
end.
are giving your best and you're not getting the best in return.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm thinking, you know, those are definitely things that in order for us to be peaceful, we have to end. Right, Sharon?
Yeah, I totally agree. As a matter of fact, I could relate to the employment. I remember my last job, which was many years ago. The last time I was employed. I remember that particular job. I'll get up in the mornings.
You know,
Huh?
just kidding. She's a businesswoman. She's a super businesswoman.
But that last job that I had, I remember getting up in the mornings and just didn't want to go to work. I felt ill. I felt all sorts of things when I think about having to go to work. And then one day I sat down in my boss' office, and like you said, Delia, that guy used to go to work, would go home on the evenings. His office an accountant, and their job on the evenings was to decide how much money I make, because I was working on a commission basis. So every Monday morning, he calls me in the office for a meeting, and he will say, I was thinking if we do it this way, you'll make this amount, and that way. This time they thought of the whole situation already and realized how to help me to make less money.
Less money.
And one day I was in his office and I said, you know, Sharon, how long are you willing to put up with this? And I sat down, and he think I'm taking notes on his business. And I sat down there, came up with my business name, my business plan, right in his office. And I said that was enough. I said there was a reason for me getting this job, and that the reason was to propel me into getting into my own business.
Yes.
Yeah, and also to prepare you to, the reason why you had that job too was to give you the skills for your future also, for your own business.
And even when we're co-workers, Delia, we will laugh about it where we'll say, that job then, Delia.
Right.
Because we did so many things that wasn't our job description. We will always say, this company is making business people out of all of us because we're doing way more than we're supposed to have done. And so all those were experiences that add to the whole of us. And the important thing is to take away from that is things happen. You're placed in jobs, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a friendship. You're placed in positions amongst persons for a reason. I remember your mother is the first person I heard saying this, Delia. We were having a conversation one day. She said, Sharon, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And that stuck with me. And it taught me, how do I identify where this person fits in? Is this person in my life for a period of time? How do I know when a time is coming to an end? How do I prepare myself? And sometimes when we realize it's coming to an end, whether it's a friendship or a job or what have you, we sometimes think it's a bad thing, but it's not always a bad thing. Because the lessons that you learn, every friendship you're in, you get good out of it and you get bad out of it. But it's important for us to learn the lesson. And when we leave...
Sorry, Sharon, go ahead.
No, I didn't hear what you said, Anna, sorry.
I said it's always the fear of the unknown that keeps us back.
Exactly.
And Sharon, sorry to disturb you also. You know, you're talking about you learn lessons. What I realized too, when you're learning lessons, it's important to journal it, because 1 minute, okay, I learned a lesson and I remember what this person did. It sounds kind of creepy that when somebody do something to you, you write it down. But sometimes you give somebody a chance and you dismiss what they did. But when you write down something, you see the patterns of behavior when you journal things. And you could say to the person, you keep doing this to me, and you can give valid examples. But when you don't journal and you don't write things down, you forget. And your plight is not as secure or concrete as if you say, on this date, or I remember with this incident, and I thought we resolved it, but clearly we didn't, because you've gone back and do the same thing. Sorry, go ahead.
And then at that time, you have to decide, am I going to stay in this toxic environment? Am I twofold? We are not to be just takers in relationships. You might have one giving more than the other person. We're not counting how much you give, but it's wise for you to not just take, but to also give. But if you realize time after time, I'm the giver, and you may not need material things also, but emotional support. The person might need material thing, but you might need emotional support. You might need, but if your needs are not being met in a relationship, hello, you realize this is not working for me.
Any relationship,
I see what you're saying. And then even in terms of the season, right? It's like it's mango season, but
yes,
want to produce breadfruit.
Yes,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. Even in the weather pattern, when God created everything, we have seasons. We have the rainy season. You guys have 4 seasons. We just have 2 seasons here. But every season has its benefit. And so when that season has ended, there's no need to beat yourself up. Just
cut
to have a
yourself some
drama.
slack.
It's just exactly, and let us peacefully dissolve. And sometimes we need to have a point where, okay, this is not lingering, because sometimes things linger wrong and we don't know if it's coming or it's going. If it's, sometimes we need to make a definite clear break. So we know, okay, this has ended and we are moving forward this way or that way.
Yeah. So as I was saying earlier, guys, I mean, when we get so comfortable in bad situations, sometimes it's just fear that's stopping us from moving on to making another choice, so to speak. So we stay in bad relationships, we stay in bad jobs, we stay attached to people who are no longer working with us and to make us a better human beings, and we just stay because of fear, because we're afraid that if we lose that job we mightn't get another one. If we lose that friend, maybe we wouldn't get somebody to replace that friend or that lover. And I always say, if you focus on two emotions that we usually would have, is like fear and love. And if you're holding on to something because of fear, that is the one clue that you need to let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're holding on to anything because of fear, that is one clue to just let it go and move on. Take a chance and try something else.
So that is a very good point. So how do I know when I am in fear?
You because you're afraid, you're fear, you're just anxious. It makes you, it's like if you're gonna put your hand in fire, I mean that's fear. You know what fear feels like. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you have these thoughts where you can't see yourself going on without that person.
Without that person.
So that's
because you're accustomed.
Yes.
You get comfortable because it's a habit. We form habits, human beings are habitual beings. We in one place and all of a sudden that's like we have to do that a lifetime. And because that's what we know, we tend to stick to what we know. So,
So so what I'm hearing you see is that being comfortable.
Yes. Being comfortable.
And
and comfort is no good thing, baby.
It stands in your way of ending, right?
Yeah.
And really, maybe ending should be beginnings, right? What do you guys
Of course, definitely. Alpha Omega, right? At the ending, there's a new beginning and so forth and so forth. So that's how it works. But we have to be able to take that chance. We have to be brave enough to take that step to make a different choice. We can't stay in a relationship.
What do we actually do if I've recognized, okay, it's either I'm in a toxic relationship, be it intimate partner, my job, or a friend, or it's the end of a season, or I'm somewhere where I'm comfortable but I'm not growing. And I'm scared. Like, how do I move on? Like, what do you?
Well, you first have to recognize that you are, because sometimes we don't even recognize that we are in that sort of environment, in that negative space. So you recognize that you are in a negative space. Once you recognize that you're in a negative space, it's easy for you to make another choice. Whatever that choice is, whatever it is, it's easy. So all you do is recognize that and make up your mind. That's not good for you. Why would you want to stay in a situation where you're not happy? You know what I mean? Why would you stay there? It doesn't make sense. You want to be happy. We all want to be happy. So, make the choice. Recognize that you're not happy in that situation. And Sharon was saying it earlier. When she's going to work, she's all anxious. She's nervous. She doesn't want to go. She's hoping for rain. She's hoping for all kind of things to stop her from going to that job that she didn't want to go to because she was unhappy. And with any situation, that's exactly how we feel. You know, whether it's a lover or work or friendship, to see that person, if you don't want to talk to, if you like your girlfriend or a friend, and you don't want to talk to her anymore because of what she brings to you, that negative energy that she's bringing, you get that same feeling, that anxiousness. Oh God, she calling on you, you don't want to answer the phone, you know, you're making up excuses not to be in her company, and that happens, you know. So if you're behaving like that towards somebody you supposedly love, obviously it means that that is time to end.
Or put some distance.
Not just distance, and a deal, you know, DELIA is right, and you know, and closure, and move on.
You end. How would you end? Like listen, I come to you and I'm like, Nadine girl, like I need to end this shit. Like, what would
let me tell you, I believe anything you need to end, there must be a plan. There must be some planning. For example, if you ending, my nickname is Plan B, you know. Anyway, if you look at it, even if you're planning to leave a job, okay, fine, the job is toxic, but it pays your bills.
Right.
It pays your bills.
Right.
There's no guarantee when you leave this job, you get in one next month. How much, if you're planning to leave this job, how much money have you saved? Did you save money for 6 months, especially if you're in a family environment, especially if you're a single mother? What are you going to do? You got to pick up yourself, fairy, cuss up with people in the job. And
I am very guilty of that, Nadine. I'm guilty of that. I have left many jobs without planning. I went to work, not planning, no, seriously, not planning to leave the people working on. I went to work normal. I got there, something happened, and I said, thank you very much. It was a pleasure working with you. I have learned so much.
Yeah.
I am gone. And I am gone. And because I know that something's going to happen that is going to be better. I know that. But that doesn't mean that you stay in a situation. You are a planner, and it's have some people who are planners, and there are some people who just move with instinct. I'm one of those people that move with instinct.
Yeah, I tend to be a planner. But like, for example, with friends, however, if you want to exit a toxic friendship, you don't need to plan, because that friendship not ready. When you open the fridge, you ain't seeing your friends sign up in the fridge paying your bills.
But then you still need to pay homage to somebody who has been your friend for a while.
But if you are right, if you're planning to end a friendship that is toxic, there is a certain level of planning. It still boils down to, if sometimes a friendship is toxic, but the other person doesn't recognize that. And when you try to end it with that friend, they tell you, because it happened to me before, and you tell them how you feel, and the friend go, that's bullshit. You blah, blah. So, but if you were keeping, when you realize that this relationship is toxic,
that response is the toxicity coming out
right now. So if you recognize this friend is bullshit, and sometimes it's even harder to get out from a friend's thumb, and they have you under their thumb. It's a weird kind of thing, and you literally do have to plan sometimes. And I would go back to what I said, you need to journal, because when you telling this friend, you know, this is toxic and I need to get it. Oh, this toxic, I was there for you from day one, blah, 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 blah. And you go, well,
but maybe she could also have a list. Your friend could also have a list of all the good things that she brought to your life.
Exactly. Well. They can have a list of the good things. But if you cannot counteract and say, there's a reason why I'm doing this, then it's not valid, and then you feel like a shit and you still stay with your friend.
No, but what is wrong in just saying I love you? But at this stage in my life, you and I no longer work.
Right. Okay. Let me tell you why. Because it's a toxic friend, you have to kind of ease out of it, because it have people. When
so rather than hide Nadine when she calling, don't take the phone calls. She come over and duck.
No. It have friends. If you don't ease out of it and plan to get out of it, all your business will be on the streets. Because remember, it's a friend you telling all your business to for years.
Right.
So you have to exit that seamlessly as possible. And even if you have to have, I can't see it ending with a cuss out and I don't talk to you, because for me, in that situation, all your business is going to be on the street. But if you ease away and you tell the friend, as Anna says, I don't think this is working for me, and you ease out. To me, that's what I would do. I would ease out of it and close
And
the
hope to
door
never see her
slowly.
again.
Close
it's funny
that
now.
door.
Delia, what is your impression on that?
I see both points, right? I see the value of of understanding the person that you're interacting with. There's some people
Yes.
you have to use wisdom. You have to apply wisdom. And as Nadine say, you just eat, like my mother used to say, when your hand
Take your hands were in lion's mouth.
pull it
Yes.
out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Some friendship just ease the way out. And you know what I mean? And some you're just like, okay, I'm recognizing your attributes. I'm recognizing what you're bringing to the table and doesn't jive with my energy. So I'm just pull it out.
And Sharon, how would you handle that situation? How would you handle something like that?
Well, funny enough, I had an experience quite recently where someone who I was who went a long way back was not meeting the friendship in a way that I found to be appealing to me. So I took the first step by putting the person on pause for a bit, and I did that, and that was followed recently where I had to send the person a message saying, the friendship is not what I expect out of it. And the person had passed and looked for me, and I wasn't able to communicate to the person very well. And I felt badly about that. So I sent the person a message saying, the reason why I didn't respond to you when you passed that day, as I should have, is because of things that was said. And I further said, I wish you and your family all the best in moving forward, but the friendship is not working. So I dealt with it where I did. So the person now is fully aware that the friendship is no longer open.
Right.
I've closed it, and I've put it in a way where it's respectful to the person. So the person see me again and they don't say hi, it wouldn't be anything awkward because I've already made it clear where it's an end of an era where that friendship is concerned.
Okay, but understand, when you put an end to that with friendships, if you see somebody passing in mall, there's nothing wrong with saying hi and you continue on your way. I'm not going to stop and have no deep conversation and tell you my business like the last few years, whatever, but you know. But,
I mean, if the person comes and say hi now, I will have no problem in saying hi, how you doing, like anybody else, but moving on. It's not the same as before.
So you'll remain polite.
Yeah, and there's no animosity. I really genuinely wish the person
is always good. Polite is always good. And I mean, this is a very topic.
But Delia, polite and civil is fine, but not everybody could be polite and civil, eh? When
you are
polite, but you are only responsible for your behavior, right?
Exactly.
Right, yes. You're only responsible for your behavior. But if you want to be polite and civil, I have been in this situation where I decided I'm going to be polite and civil with this individual. And from the time I said hi, I'm not talking to you in front of a whole set of people like if you're in kindergarten. Not everybody could be polite and civil.
And exactly, but you remain polite and civil, right? And that journey is about self, right? It's about all we figuring out how we are, how we respond to the situations, and dealing with our own demons. People, how that person reacts, right?
Right.
And also, I also want to say this too. We should always, no matter what the outcome is, we should always deal with people in a respectable manner. As we want to be treated. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. So while the friendship may have come to an end, there's no need to be rude or disrespectful. You can say your piece in a manner that's most respectful. And so, it's just ended clean and clear. And that's it.
Close that ajar.
Another conversation that we could go on and on and on and on.
Right, but I know because it's experiences we had. But on the topic of ending, there are several ways to end. There are bad ways and a good way. And some of the I think when you're ending a relationship, both parties need to accept a share of the blame and understand where all of this has started. Because and a lot of times in the end of relationships, when you hear it, it's always that person was totally in the wrong. But we need to recognize that we both contributed to what happened. And another bad way to end a relation, which is a new thing, is ghosting people. That's a
Right.
bad way to end a relationship. You
What
leave some
what did you say,
ghosting,
Nadine?
ghosting.
You mean hiding
Ghosting.
from them? Ducking them?
Yes, ducking. Yes, the parlance of ducking. Yes.
Okay.
You're ducking. In treaty terms, you're ducking them. But in international terms, it's called ghosting. You don't take their phone calls. You no longer call them. If you see them anywhere, you're hiding in a corner until they pass. That kind of thing. That is not a good way because you haven't addressed the situation
Yes.
like an adult. But I guess sometimes it works in like international arenas, like bigger metropolitan countries where there's no likelihood of you bouncing up that person unless you call them and decided we're meeting at this point. You can go, you could probably
Ducking
go
and
to, but
hiding
you
is
can't go
not
to
a
people
good
in
way to
Trinidad.
go.
You must see them.
That's what she said. It's a bad way to end a relationship. So,
Right.
so even when you are thinking about ending, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't just go to the person.
Yeah.
And carry on. Respect yourself and the time where because I'm sure they contributed to your life
In positive ways. Yeah.
Of
and
course.
Exactly.
Yes.
give them that honor. Whether they
Yes.
carry on after,
Yeah.
it's on them.
Yeah. And
Yes.
another bad way of ending a relationship is bad talking people.
Right.
After your relationship has ended, there is no need to put people's business on the street. Be an adult.
Right.
Those things were said in confidence.
And keep it
You
in
know?
the vault.
Keep it, yeah.
Keep it in the vault. No matter what happens,
Yeah.
that vault is sealed. Like I know Anna
Yeah.
will never tell.
And
I don't know
another
what
thing,
you're talking
Right?
another bad way of ending a relationship is stalking. Stalkers, people who you know, in Trinidad we have plenty.
I don't understand
to
it.
talk about.
I don't understand it, Nadine. What you mean?
No, what I'm saying,
Stalkers.
I'm talking about the bad ways to end a relationship. When you end a relationship in a bad way, it may lead to somebody stalking you. If somebody said
stalker.
it's ended, why are you
You have to
stalking?
be careful with that because stalking is never your fault. It's
Right.
always the stalker who has
Right.
some emotional or mental problem. So we have to be mindful of that. But listen, we really have to we have to wrap it up because I think we have to have a part two.
Okay, let me talk about the good ways then. The
How
good
to
ways.
end. How to end a relationship part two. We definitely have to do that because
Oh my
again,
God.
the point is, right, we really want people to understand that you do have to end things sometimes in life.
Right.
In order for you to become the best version of yourself, to align with purpose and destiny, you need to move on, and you cannot move on when you're stuck in a toxic relationship,
Yes.
intimate, in a job that doesn't work for you, in a friendship that brings you down, or if you don't recognize that a season has ended.
Yes.
If you are resisting change. So
Yeah.
say, listen, guys, don't be afraid to end things.
Right. Yeah.
Personally, have ended things, and our lives have become more amazing.
Right.
So we end them.
Thanks everyone for listening. And remember, when you're in a bad or toxic situation, may it be a job, a relationship, a friendship, there's always a way out. Thank you.
It was such a pleasure being with you again out there. Keep in mind that people are in our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. It's up to us to understand the different times and to move accordingly. Thank you for joining us again.
Wow, that was a really great conversation. And I think it's really critical that we understand and we recognize that, hey, sometimes things have to end. So see you guys next time.
Bye, guys. Thank you so very much for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed this conversation. It's important that we all recognize that part when we reach to that space, when it's time to move on, when it's time to continue, you know. So, wow. So thank you for joining us. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.